One more time on Cougar Puck Radio. Welcome back inside Griff's Georgetown. Here in the tiny village of Bauer, tucked between Jenison and Hudsonville and Holland and right between everything here. Halfway out to the lakeshore from Grand Rapids. I'm Matt Gajtka as your Grand Rapids Catholic Central Cougars are back at it. Day 3 for them of the OK Conference Tournament Tier 1 edition as they'll play for 5th place this afternoon against the Rockford Rams. It's a rematch of a 3-3 tie from just about a month ago out of Griff's Ice House. In that game, the Cougars scored twice in the final 5 minutes to tie the score as they and the Rams exchanged goals late, and then no one could put one in the sudden death session. But yesterday in sudden death, the Cougars picked up their second overtime win in a span of 7 days as Gage Potter completed the hat trick with just a couple of minutes to go in the first overtime session against West Ottawa. And as a result, the Cougars picked up win number 16 on the season. They're 16-6-2. They've gone 1-1 this week. They lost 4-2 to Mona Shores on Tuesday. And like I mentioned yesterday, the sudden death victory. Gage Potter now 13 goals in his freshman year. But also picking up a couple of assists was the co-captain Isaac Kappinga, as he is back and fully engaged this week, coming back from an upper body injury that held him out for a few games. So the Cougars are very happy to have Kappinga back in the stable. And some of their horses got running wild yesterday early. Potter scored twice in the first, then West Ottawa answered back with a couple in the second, and we had a scoreless third period. As for Rockford, yesterday for the Rams, they took care of the Reese Puffer Rockets by a final score of 5-2. The Rams on the season, counting this week's results, are 15-8. They, like the Cougars, lost their first game here. They fell to Granville 5-1 on Tuesday. So that put them on the losers bracket side, but they took care of business yesterday, and as a result, they did not have to play early this morning. We just saw West Ottawa down Reese Puffer 5-4 in OT. Rockford yesterday in that 5-2 win against the Reese Puffer Rockets, they jumped out to a strong start, just like the Cougars did. They scored 2 goals in the first. Jonah Packard and Hayden McCrell for Packard. It was his 35th of the season. And then after Jordan Benkert pulled one back for Reese Puffer, Hudson Shore and Packard again scored in the second. And then Brody Rogakis got an empty netter late to polish off the victory. Jonah Packard has 36 goals on the year for Rockford, one of the top scorers in the entire state. So, yes, we talk about players to look out for, players to scout before a game. Jonah Packard is certainly one of those, and Packard, in fact, is their captain, a senior, and he continues to pile up the goals and the points. 55 total points, by the way. He leads his team by 22 points. 55 for him, 33 for the closest to him. That's Jackson Vollmer. And then below them, Chase Leverell with 30 as well. So 3 30-point scorers for Rockford. And this team can put the puck in the net. We've seen that the last 2 games for the Cougars. They've been able to, well, at least yesterday, they held a pretty high-scoring West Ottawa team in check, allowing just 2 goals. Things got away from them a bit early in the game against Mona Shores, but 5-on-5 play was actually quite good against Mona Shores, as the Cougars did not allow a single even-strength goal in that first game. So they took something from that, even though their penalty kill was scored upon 3 times. Yesterday, though, they held a high-powered West Ottawa power play to just 1 for 7. And that was pretty key in keeping them alive in that game long enough to get the wins. Like I said, Catholic Central now with 16 victories. Big jump over last year's total. They'll outpace last year's total by several wins in the end, as they still have this game and 2 more next weekend in the regular season before the regional playoffs begin in just a couple of weeks' time. Starting goalies tonight, of course, it's Jacob Aaron once again between the pipes for Catholic Central. Aaron on the season, a record of 16-6-2, mirrors his team as he's the only goalie of record, a 2.14 goals against average and a .920 save percentage. His career number in terms of save percentage is .908, so it has been a step up as a senior for Aaron. And speaking of seniors in goal, Nolan Williams once again gets the call for Rockford. Williams' stats on the season, not quite as gaudy as Aaron's, but still solid. An .892 save percentage for him and a 2.96 goals against average. And he performed quite well in that 3-3 tie against the Cougars, I thought, a month ago at Griff's Ice House, despite allowing 3 Williams, one of the more athletic and one of the more consistent goalies in West Michigan. So the Cougars offense will have their work cut out against him. But you could say the same for sure about the Rockford Rams on the other side against Aaron. Time for the national anthem from here at Griff's Georgetown. Back on the East Rink for more hockey in just a couple of minutes on Cougar Puck Radio. Injury news for Catholic Central. It looks like Parker Moore will be available. Parker missed yesterday's game due to an upper body ailment, as did Alex Gevorkian. Gevorkian remains out, but Parker Moore is back in, or at least on the bench, presumably available to the Cougars. Yesterday, Catholic Central had to play both Levi Jensen and Caleb McLean on the blue line to fill in the gaps. Today, it looks like Jensen is back listed as a forward. Yes, he is. As two spare forwards for the Cougars, along with his fellow sophomore first-year varsity man Noah Berkmeyer. So the Twin Towers are back up front for the Cougars, and but it'll be another challenge for the coaching staff, Mike Moss and Corey Carlander, along with Kyle Marchand, the first-year bench boss, to spread the playing time around, make sure that folks aren't getting confused on the bench, which can lead to a potential too many men on the ice call. That can happen, so you just try to be as clear as you can with your communication in these scenarios when you don't have a full forward line available. And, of course, the D looks like it's going to be shuffled again. So out with it come the Rockford Rams, and snapping it ahead, Jackson Vollmer. From behind the net, Vollmer reaching in after it. The Rams in the orange, of course, and the Cougars in the white. Vollmer stepping, feeding, and that's deflected over to Brody Ragukis. He fed it back to the point, and Braden Kuhn couldn't hold it in. So here we go. Ripped right back in by the four-year letterman, Max Flaherty, the captain of the Rams, co-captain, speeds it around the horn. Far side, Ragukis taps it near corner. Vollmer takes over, but coughed it up to Gage Potter. Yesterday's three-goal hero, Potter. Off to Kappinga, who had 2 assists in the game against West Ottawa. He lost the puck. Kuhn clears, and it's an easy skate out for Vollmer, but 1-on-3. High shot, and that handcuffed Jacob Aaron a bit, but he still made the save. And it's scooped on the move by Morgan Pastelli. He had the secondary assist on the winning goal in overtime yesterday. Pastelli continues to chip in from the blue line. That's now 8 points on the year for him. 2 goals and 6 assists. Bouncing shot, and Williams didn't know where it was. He couldn't figure it out. Carlander's blast from center point skipped a couple of times. That made it tricky for Williams. And one of his teammates, fortunately, bailed him out. That was Portco down the wing and trying to snap it on net. Savaggio. That's blocked by Pastelli. Arister from the point, and that was redirected, and taken back by Catholic Central into the far corner. Centered out in front by Packard, and fanning on the one-time shot, Savaggio. Packard wins the race to the puck. Tried to tap it by Dozema, couldn't do it, and the puck just dances on top of the dasher again. It's the second time in 2 games that's happened where the puck seemingly disappears. It's right on top of that tiny ledge. It seems almost impossible it would ever stay there for any length of time. Flipped in by the Cougars. Hayden McCrell retrieves. Clears it around. Packard waiting for it. Instead it goes right by him. Out the center and off the stick of Caden Markin, but he lost control. Casey Ten Harmsel circles the puck, gets his legs moving, but it's scooted off his stick. Michael Mead plays it right back in for Rockford. Rams 1-1 this week, just like Catholic Central. That's how you get into this particular game, the 5th place game in Tier 1 of the OK Conference. 16 teams in the conference. These teams finish in the top half of the Roo Division, which was an accomplishment this year. Cohen Potter charging in. Lost control. Potter wipes out one of the Rams behind the net. That was Matheson. He's a pretty strong skater, too. So Cohen Potter again, a human cannonball on the forecheck. Colnon jabs it deep for Catholic Central. Catholic Central making a change of defense behind the play. Ten Harmsel out there. So is Kappinger. It looks like he was filling in on D for a second. Now Noah Onstad steps back. Loose in the slot. Shot! Saved by Aaron, on Michael Mead. Good bounce for the Rams, but Mead put it right into the belly of Jacob Aaron. And he hangs on with 13:57 to go in the first. The Rams have had some high-scoring wins lately. In fact, in each of their last 7 victories, they've scored 5 goals or more. Being held to just 1 by Granville the other night was the major anomaly. Otherwise, they put 6 up on Grosse Ile, on Petoskey, on Jackson United, on Huron Valley as well. The Cougars beat Huron Valley earlier this year in the West Michigan Hockey Showcase. Cleared out by Ten Harmsel. It will not go far enough for icing, so Matheson couldn't get it out. Far side. Potter, attempted centering pass, broken up. Onstad out the blue line. Shoved it behind the goal. Cooper Moss reaching in against Matheson. Took the puck away. Did Moss. Very strong on the puck. Number 14 in white and royal blue. Referee got stuck in the melee on the far corner, but it's dragged loose by Hayden McCrell. And the high flip to center. Ten Harmsel sandwiched by a couple of Rams out at center ice. And a low shot coming in from the bottom of the circle by McCrell, handled by Aaron, and he stops the music. And Isaac Kappinger stands up to Carter Silvis. Both he and Schwant collided with Ten Harmsel. 2-on-1 in the neutral zone. That wasn't very fair, but that's how it works out sometimes. So the Rams offense is hot. They finished as the 4th seed in the Roo Division, just a point behind Catholic Central. Actually ended up being tied with Catholic Central, but the Cougars won the tiebreak. Dozema chips it off the near boards. Heminger collides with Hudson Shore. And out it comes again. And back into Rams territory. Braden Kuhn looking up, giving it away to Morgan Pistelli just beyond the blue line, who flipped it up off a stick right back to Kuhn, the defenseman. Cross-ring pass broken up by the long stick of Karsten Carlander. From the far wall, Heminger trying to step off. He lost the puck. It scoots back to Pistelli. Carlander backpedaling. And the high soft flip into the near side. Heminger after it, but gunned away from his reach. The play bogs down on the far wall. And breaking out Ragukis, but he lost control, did Brody Ragukis. Filtered ahead by the Cougars. Levi Jensen leaning on a Ram to get that puck into the slot. Free to Reynolds. Picked his way to the outside, still trying to find some room. Cohen Potter back in the direction of Reynolds, flipped up and out. Vollmer trying to escape. Jensen lifted his stick though. And as a result, Catholic Central can regroup in their own end. Pistelli turns it back against the grain to McLean, who's playing D again today. And he iced it, shooting it in from just behind center red, apparently. The linesman confirming that. Leading scorer for Catholic Central is Gage Potter, number 26. He's out there right now. The freshman has 13 goals, 20 total points in 24 games. This game number 25. In past years, you can only play 25 regular season games, but the MHSAA has allowed hockey teams to add 2 more if they wish, and the Cougars did. Next week they'll be at home to play Northville, the Mustangs, on Friday, and then on Saturday afternoon against the Midland Chemics. Both games are at Southside Ice Arena in Byron Center. I'll have the call for both of those. We've got Hockey Fights Cancer Night coming up. We've got Senior Night as well, or Senior Day. against the Chemics. Onstadt, the high pass, and that's whacked out of the air. Savaggio takes command for the Rams. I haven't seen the Rams in these orange uniforms this year. Portko skids it over, and rink wide to Packard with some room. Right up the middle it goes, and a backhand try. Pad save by Aaron from a sharp angle by Lavarelle. Lavarelle and Packard were in 2-on-1. The Cougars with the counter. Moss bumped by Portko. Still at the feet of Moss. Onstadt dragging into the slot. The shot. Williams the save. Again, it's Gage Potter. He always finds a way to get to the scoring area. And he got the shot off. And then one of the Rams checked Moss up high, I think. Yeah, Moss is just getting up to his feet. And there does not appear to be a penalty called from the situation. Catholic Central yesterday didn't get many opportunities on the advantage, just 2 of them, but they did score on their first chance on the power play. None forthcoming, at least not right now. 5-on-5 continues. And off the face-off, slammed around by the Rams. Postelli put the lid on it and shot toward the net, just missed. Dozema getting the stick in there. Ten Harmsel, though, recovers it at center. A nifty pass to Heminger in close quarters. On one leg, he rifles it in deep. Heminger to the middle. Dozema off the Rams turnover, and it floats to the front of the net. Williams covers up. Catholic Central Hockey brought to you by our gold sponsors, Innovia Wealth and ARC Insights. Thank you for your generous support and commitment to our student athletes at CC. Cougars win this draw. Ten Harmsel right to the net. Off the cuff of the glove of Williams. He couldn't handle it, but his teammates again pick him up, and they flip it all the way down. Mead a shot off the crossbar. Really sharp angle, and he almost scored. Caught Aaron going down maybe a little bit early, but sometimes you just got to tip your cap to the shooter. In that case, Mead nearly picking his spot. He's got 10 goals on the year. Postelli looked to ladle it through center. Ricochets off a Ram skate. Circling back, Cohen Potter up to Heminger. He relays it forward. Jensen in on the forward check. But turned back the other way by the Rams. McCrell, and this time Ben Tracy takes control of the puck, and he's smeared by Cohen Potter in the corner, and a penalty is coming against Catholic Central. Jensen reaching in. There's the whistle, stopping play with 8:52 to go in the first. And we'll await the official call from the referee. Roughing. Roughing against Potter, who is the top penalty minute getter for Catholic Central this year. And again, 8:52 to go in the opening period. This is the 5th place game in the Tier 1 bracket of the OK Conference Tournament. We have 8 games in total here in this building today, starting at 9:30 this morning, in fact. Catholic Central gets the quick clear. East Kentwood played Jenison at 9:30 in the 7th place game of Tier 2. And right now, Grand Haven, last I checked, had a 2-1 lead against Hudsonville in the 5th place game in that bracket. Turned up the near side to Vollmer. One touch pass by Mead, redirected by Onstadt. Out the center it goes. The Rams tried to go low to high, didn't work. Packard carries in. Ten Harmsel watches him, centering, and a shot by Mead. Didn't get a lot on it, but it's just into the pads of Aaron. He was tested, and he passed that test with 8:08 left in the first. 1:17 remaining on the Potter penalty. Catholic Central has won 5 out of 6. The only blemish, that defeat to Mona Shores on Tuesday here. Vollmer looking things over, outer edge of the circle. One touch from Mead, back out top. Here's a shot, score! Nolan Portko beats Aaron from 35 feet out. A straight-on chance on the power play, and the Rams lead 1-0, 7:54 to go in the first. And Rockford gets that rolling offense going again. For Portco, his third goal from the blue line this year. And Catholic Central, for the second time this week, has to play from behind in the first period. Off the draw and Moore. I just see Parker Moore back out there. We'll see how much time he gets. Of course, Catholic Central wants him healthy for the regional playoffs in less than 2 weeks now. Ragukis back out to the blue line, deflected right out in front, and a stop by Aaron on Jackson Vollmer's redirect. Meade gets the primary assist on the play, on the goal from Portco. And Vollmer picks up the secondary. So the penalty stings for Catholic Central. And no surprise, considering how many goals the Rams have been putting in the net lately, that they are liable to make those penalties sting. So discipline going to be key the rest of the way. 7:11 to go in the first. Heminger fishes it out. He's bumped immediately by Kortkowski. Near wall, Gage Potter sends it right back in below the goal line. The Cougars trying to play below the hash marks right now. Tending to build up some positive momentum after giving up the first goal. Moore's got to hustle back against Kortkowski. And Kortkowski wins the race eventually, but his clearing pass in front, intercepted by Pastelli. Sends it on over to Gage Potter, looks up, but broken up at center. Right now the Rams are on their front foot. Pastelli, though, bumped Savaggio as he tried to make his way over the blue line. Moss, serpentine down the middle, but lost control of the puck. Pastelli whacked it out of his skates, but it comes forward to Vollmer, centering on the doorstep, off the goalpost goes Savaggio. After that pass that was Packard actually who set him up. Thought it was Vollmer initially, it was Packard. And it was Savaggio on the doorstep. And he shot it back across the body of Aaron. Beat him, but not the iron. A couple of great moves at center by Packard. The 36-goal man works his way far wing, lowers the shoulder against McLean. To the blue line, and Portco all the way across. Snapper by Matheson, hops off the pads of Aaron. Packard to the middle, stripped by Colnon. Moss winds it up and flips in and takes a couple of bumps from Packard. On behind the goal, 5:27 remaining in the first period. Near wing Packard all the way up and kept just inside the red line by Onstadt. And that keeps the Rams on their heels for now. In front of the goal, Colnon battling. McLean thought about stepping up, and he eventually did, but it was poked by him, by Lavarelle. A pull-up shot blocked by Onstadt in the face-off circle. Onstadt couldn't get over to the far side for the drive by Kuhn that went ricocheting off of Aaron to the near boards. Flaherty circles, feeds to Matheson all the way across Shore. Down the wall, Markin into the slot, off the stick of Colnon and deflects to center. Kuhn hammers it ahead. Aaron just watches that go. Markin flushed it on the kick plate. Onstadt won that confrontation, and his delivery across off the deflection. Heminger still caught up to it, even though it hit the skate of Shore at center ice. The Rams jump on it. Kuhn backhand to Flaherty. Heminger all over him. Flaherty got rid of it to the far side. Moore kept it at the blue line. Parker Moore down the wall to Heminger. Dozema working against Shore. Referee's hand comes up and a penalty on the way. I don't know who it is against. And we've got some shots to the the facial area from a couple of players in the corner exchanging blows. Don't want to say shots to the face because, of course, everyone's got the cages or the plastic protection as mandated by USA Hockey. Jackson Dozema goes to the box, and he fires his stick in frustration. Dozema, the only penalty from that sequence, apparently. Another roughing call against Catholic Central with 4 minutes left, exactly, in the first. It's not the way the Cougars want to play this game, as Rockford has frustrated them to a large degree so far. The Rams have played a lot in the offensive end, and Catholic Central has now taken 2 penalties. And of course, the first penalty led to the first and only goal in this game. Moss versus Savaggio. Cooper Moss goes forward with it, right into the path of Kappinga, his fellow captain. Kappinga chugging down the left wing, pulls up in the corner, sprays some snow, made a pass out to the point, but just away from the reach of Ten Harmsel. He has to retreat back for it, as Aaron didn't get a lot on that little backhand, but Moss was there, fortunately, the only person in the same zip code as that pass. Kappinga battles McCrell. McCrell flings Kappinga. Meanwhile, down the other way, the Rams have a chance, and they overpassed it in the slot. Kappinga gets the puck, and he clears. Kappinga and McCrell, boy, that was physical and feisty on the near side wall. And the Rams forced it right down the middle of the Cougars zone, but they couldn't convert on the power play. Coming off the bench is Portko. Far wing, Ragukis dropped it back. A shot by McCrell. That was tipped off the stick of Aaron. Portko to the puck. The goal scorer in this game, Nolan Portko. Back out to the line. Across to Laverell. Wrister blocked by Ten Harmsel. Swung out of the zone by Jack Reynolds. And down it goes with 2:49 to go in the period. And now just 45 seconds remaining in the power play for the Rams. Portko feeds it up the far side. Flaherty with speed. Chips in and offside against Rockford. At least I think that was the call. Now it will be a face-off in the Cougars zone. It's ruled that the puck went off the rink. It deflected off a Cougars stick, evidently. And Corey Carlander, the assistant coach, wanted to know exactly what the reasoning was there. Carlander and Moss holdovers from the previous staff. And Kyle Marchand wanted them to stick around for sure. Wrist shot by Portko. Rebound goes off the goal frame from Packard. Or no, that was Meade, excuse me. This is Packard. Out top. Snap shot, missed the net. Big rebound off the end boards. And Heminger fighting for it. Meade takes it back, yanks it to the far corner. 7 seconds to go on the power play. Flaherty helps it back to the blue line. Packard looks up and lets it go. Boy, can he shoot that puck. Unbelievable. Off his back foot. That thing was rifled, but it missed. I guess that's how you get 36 goals in 24 games. Back to 5-on-5. Portko, the defenseman, goes in deep. Around the horn it comes to Flaherty. Pivots, looks, feeds it. Slap shot by Vollmer, missed the target. Portko bunted it down the boards. 1:38 to go in the period. Meade stepping off the wall. Shot off the glove of Aaron. But right over to Vollmer. This is not a power play anymore, but it feels like it for Rockford. The Cougars are tired. They got to get some fresh bodies out there, but first they have to get the puck out. To the corner and Flaherty. Flaherty gets it right back. Flipped up and out, though, as it's turned over to Carlander. And it goes on net. Williams touched it. Nullifies any potential icing. It was going to be close, whether it was going to be on actual target from 200 feet away. But the Cougars still can't get a full line change as of the moment. Packard trying to take advantage, but he gave it up to Gage Potter. Couldn't get it by the initial forward checker, but now the Cougars keep going. And, well, no, Ragukis keeps it in out at the blue. Savaggio now, and Packard overtaken just inside the blue line. The Cougars dispatch it down into Rockford real estate. Parker Moore, a pass off the skate of Packard, who goes off for a change. Under 40 seconds, following shot by Savaggio, handled by Aaron in the catching glove as he flashes the leather with 34 seconds left in the first. Catholic Central literally and figuratively needs to catch its breath, but still some time left. If they can get clear puck possession, they can go to work here, but it's been tough getting any kind of rush chances in this first period. Rockford's been very disciplined in the neutral zone. Disciplined and aggressive at the same time. That's a lethal combination in this game. And again, the Cougars can't clear. Far wing Ragukis to the middle, hacked on net. Korikowski stopped by Aaron off the shoulder. Under 20 seconds. Vollmer. Rams in possession again. Out to the blue line. Kuhn scoots it around the boards. 10 seconds left. Turned it over to Reynolds in the middle. Reynolds gave it right back to Ragukis for Rockford. Vollmer had it scored away from him. McLean just trying to kill the remaining time, and he will, just barely. One last stuff try by Vollmer, maybe a tick after the buzzer, and so Moore gave him a little shot with the stick, and players have to be separated by the stripes as we get ready for the first intermission. So the only goal of the game scored by defenseman Nolan Portko on the power play for Rockford, and the Rams make an opening statement in that first period. Impressive stuff, as they kept the Cougars largely bottled up, but still plenty of time left in this game to turn it around. That's what the intermission is for, and so both teams to their locker rooms. Back after 10 minutes for the second period on Cougar Puck Radio. Keep it right here. Remember to like and subscribe and sign up for notifications. We still got 2 more games next week on the channel in addition to the conclusion of this OK Conference tournament. Stay with us. Second period time from Griff's Georgetown. Moss knocked down at the center ice faceoff to start the period. Didn't quite catch what happened there. He appears to be all right, though. He's back up and into the action. Moss driving his way in deep. Cohen Potter swoops in, takes the puck. Here are the Cougars trying to get a pushback, and deflected shot from McLean. That missed the target. Onstad powers it toward the goal. That's blocked side of the net. Capping it, takes it right back, and his pass off the heel, the stick of Potter. That close to giving a golden chance to the 13-goal freshman Gage Potter. Ragukis steps back into the attacking end for Rockford. The alternate captain pushed off the puck and pushed back to center himself. At mid-ice, it's fired right back in by Vollmer, but right back to the Cougars, and Kappinga tries to get by on the perimeter and could not against the checking pressure of, that was Braden Kuhn. Iced by Catholic Central down to our left. The Cougars attacking the goal to our left. As the home team, their bench on the left side of the ice from our perspective. This will be the long change period as we begin the second of this fifth place game in Tier 1 of the OK Conference. Still 4 more games coming later today. We've got the championship and third place games in each bracket left to go later this afternoon. Tossed into the zone by the Cougars, and Portco jams it up the far boards, kept in by Parker Moore. Down the wall it goes. Carlander, a shot from a sharp angle. Williams fought it off, and the Rams can try to clear, and they do just barely as Dozema yanked it out to center ice. Savaggio fed it far wing, backhand by Packard, that's blocked, and Hemminger's away. One-on-one situation against McCrell. Hemminger centered, Carlander, the late man, hit the post. Hit the post on the one-timer. Hemminger, another centering pass. That's whacked away and out to center to Lavarelle, but he was stripped by Pastelli, so the Cougars start well in the second period. Hemminger, high riser, that got the glass. Pastelli from the boards, right to the net. Williams scoops it up in the blue paint and hangs on. 15:05 to go in the second. A lot more energy for Catholic Central. That's why I talked about it at the intermission. Sometimes that's all you need, just have a seat and think about what happened and how you might be able to counter it. A lot of times it might just be a matter of turning up the pace of play, and it appears that's the case, at least somewhat, for Catholic Central to start this period. Carlander off the post, easily their best chance of the game. Onstad, a shot, and Williams didn't see it until it was almost too late, but it went wide anyway. Jensen, the high flip, glove down by McLean at the point. Jensen tried to one-time it, fanned, and instead it came over to Flaherty. Flaherty, long lead pass, or excuse me, that was actually Matheson. It's picked off at center either way by Ten Harmsol. Hooked the pass toward the slot to Cohen Potter, but out of his reach. Up the far side, Caden Markin couldn't make it happen on the cross-rink pass. So Ten Harmsol settles it back in. Onstad onto the blade of Colnon. Down the boards it goes, Cohen Potter. Chips it to himself, Potter. He's got Jensen in front. Onstad peels off. Cohen Potter tried to snipe Williams short side, but he hit the outside of the goal. Colnon pins Meade, a much larger man. Good check there as Ten Harmsel takes the wrist shot through traffic. Too much traffic, as it turns out. It jumped off a body and over the high glass. Out of play. 3 minutes into the second, and Catholic Central tilting the ice quite a bit. They've got to get that goal to really inject some energy into their bench. By the way, Catholic Central's Royal Blue sponsors, Chris Back, Fox Motors, Sharp Automotive, and 3-in-1 Solutions. All of them key to the Cougars' efforts to once again field a varsity squad, 52 seasons. Potter's shot off the leg of Kuhn to the far corner. Kuhn powers it around. Moore steps up. Moss helping out. Moss, shot, pad save by Williams. You can hear that all the way up here at the top of the bleacher. Moore kept it in. Yes, he did. It's right on the blue paint. The Cougars remain at work in the offensive zone. Moss trying to win that physical battle with Ben Tracy in the corner. And a little bit of holding on both sides there, but play allowed to continue. Potter couldn't pin it down as Kuhn gets smashed by a couple of Cougars, but the puck squirts loose. And Tracy tried to send it ahead for a potential break by Schwant, but that was picked by the Cougars. McLean knocked down by Silvis. Energy line out there for Rockford, and they're throwing some hits. Potter got belted at center by Portco. And backtracking Vollmer deep into his own territory. Headman pass deflected by a Cougar. No icing. Under 13 to go in the second period. Still 1-0 Rockford here at Griff's Georgetown. Third straight game on the East Ring for Catholic Central. Jam to center. Gage Potter lifts the stick of Portco. Backhand save Williams, and no rebound. Potter, outstanding work. Gage Potter listed on my roster sheet at just 5'6", 155 pounds. But right there, outmaneuvering the larger Portco. Well, that's how you get 13 goals at 5'6". You're smart, you know how to use your body, you know how to protect the puck. But on down it comes. Ragukka's breaking in. Save Aaron right off the shoulder. He fought it off, and he pins down the loose puck at his feet. First time Rockford's gotten a real rush chance in a while. Their big success in the first period was mostly about possessing in the offensive zone for long stretches of time. Savaggio versus Carlander at the dot. Right to the net, and Aaron says, let's do that again. Doesn't want to try to move it. Always risky when it's on your glove side. You can't really get your stick involved. Best just to hold on if you can't make a legit play. I've seen some goalies mess up trying to shuffle it. No reason to. Off the draw, Catholic Central controls. Clipped over to Pastelli. Lifted up the near boards and deflected out by Jackson Dozema. He only has a few games left as a Cougar. 10 Armsel stepping inside. Dozema right to the net. Got a deflection on that, right off the tip of his stick on the backhand side, but missed the target. Savaggio, diagonal feed. Out with it comes Lavarelle. Down the wing. And I think Aaron got a piece of that off the shoulder again. Up off the protective netting, out of play. Well, that's 2 times in a row that Rockford has gotten the jump on Catholic Central through the neutral zone. You got to watch that in the future, but Aaron keeps them just down a goal. This is Matt Gajtka on Cougar Puck Radio. Day 4 of the tournament for me I was also here on Wednesday for the Tier 2 bracket. I'll be here not as deep into the night as last year when I called the championship game between East Grand Rapids and Granville. That one went 4 overtimes. This year the championship game is Byron Center versus Caledonia, the 2 top seeds in the Roo Division. Up ahead, Caden Markin trying to go across, but it's picked off. Onstadt intercepted it. Shore was open, but not open enough. Onstadt said no. Shore shoots from the boards off the turnover, right into the chest of Aaron, and again, he covers up. 11:10 to go in the second period. Rockford rolls their lines really well. I've noticed, I think, every player on the roster at least a couple of times. It's usually a tell for me. If I'm seeing the same numbers over and over again, obviously you're looking at more unbalanced ice time, but especially third game in 5 days, makes sense for Coach Carl Mokasak to keep the lines going, and this is a deep Rockford team. Yeah, they've got the big guns up top, led by Packard, but also some players down the lineup who can hurt you. And some defenders who can play as well. There's one of them, Flaherty, shooting. Deflected. Save made by Aaron off Ben Tracy's tip right in front of the net. 10:36 left in the period. Centered and intercepted by McLean. He keeps it on the backhand side, flipping it up off the window. And again, Kapinga tied up with one of the Rams well behind the play. This time it's Carter Silvis. Isaac Kapinga is getting his nose dirty today, put it that way. Bounding through center. Moss chasing against Flaherty. Moss wiped him out. Play continues. Both men go down. Flaherty still flat on his chest in the corner. Now he gets up as Gage Potter goes to battle. Right there with Ben Tracy. Flaherty wedged it loose, right to Gage Potter. Couldn't make anything happen. Off the wall and out. Bouncing puck eluded the reach of Onstadt. Ten Harmsel says, I'll take that. As Onstadt runs some interference in front of Ragukis. Legally, of course, didn't touch him. And tipped through the neutral ice area, back down into Rockford territory. Potter getting in on the forecheck. Effectively against Kuhn. Loose puck, Carlander. Oh, he flipped the pass right back out to the point, but Ten Harmsel wasn't quite where Carlander thought he was. And so the puck drifts all the way back into Cougars territory. Carlander couldn't take the breakout pass. The Rams are onside on the re-entry, but Vollmer's delivery across, broken up by a Cougar stick. Vollmer again after the Cougars left it behind. Vollmer to the doorstep, and Ragukis shoved it wide. Ragukis out of the corner, desperately tried to throw to the net, and Carlander blocked that. Nearing the midway point of regulation, 9 minutes to go in the second. 17-minute periods in Michigan high school hockey, so 8:30 is the midway point. Takes some getting used to. Give and go, just outside the line, right back to the front of the net from Carlander to Dozema. He only got a centimeter of his stick blade on it, and it didn't change the direction materially. So Nolan Williams had an easy time freezing it at the net front. We got started just a little bit later than expected as the game preceding us, West Ottawa versus Reeds Puffer, went to overtime, but only about a minute and a half into overtime before West Ottawa won. So the Panthers claimed 7th place in the OK Conference postseason shakedown. Pastelli takes a bump from McCrell as he flips it below the goal line, but the Rams systematically working out the center, and here they come again. Moore got caught up ice, back with it, McCrell down the wing, save made by Aaron on his forehand shot, loose puck, bounced out to the point, kept by Portko, down the wall, moving inside Packard. Back to Portko. Snapshot, glove save, Aaron, and no further play. That's 3 times off the rush that Aaron has denied a Ram who had a clear path to the net. Another 2-on-1, and the Rams are not passing on these 2-on-1s. They're shooting, and hard to blame them. A lot of times that's your best option. Even at the NHL level, you'd be surprised how infrequently 2-on-1s turn into goals. It's still hard to score. I think a lot of times players force passes in those spots, so if you're in any doubt, I think you'd rather not pass it. Meade thought he had a chance, surging right up the gut in the Cougars' end, but he was offside just by a couple of inches. At the blue, he tried to keep it in play on the blue line. If you do that, then it stays in the offensive zone, but he did not, so sharp call from the linesman. Jensen pressuring Matheson, and Matheson, the defenseman for the Rams, looks up. His feed off the stick of Markin. Caden Markin lifts the stick of Jensen at center, right back to Matheson. Headmans to shore. Jensen drove Matheson into the boards. They're in a bit of a wrestling match right now. They aren't getting their equipment dislodged, and at center, the whistle sounds, and I think both men are going, Jensen and Matheson, and it happened right in front of us. I think that seemed quite fair. It was as if both players didn't really want to let go, so corresponding minor penalties with 7:39 left in the period. And Alex Gavorkian, the injured Cougar, once again serving penalty box duty and commiserates with Jensen in there. No goals in the second. Pastelli turns. Left back to the point, Kuhn, a snapshot. That's off the stick of Moss. Hops to the far corner. Cougars can't clear, though. McCrell, the sophomore, or excuse me, the junior defenseman, spins it behind the goal. Onstadt pounces on it for the Cougars. He's got some room down the left wing, plays it to himself, into open space, gets to it, centered it, and just under the stick of Moss, right at the top of the crease. Down it goes again. Great play by Pastelli to take it away from Markin, who had a full head of steam down the wing in the neutral zone. If he gets that by Pastelli, it might be a breakaway. But around and out to neutral ice. Pastelli right along the glass. He flipped it. Potter flags it down. Gage Potter confronted by a couple of Rams at center. They're chasing him. Look out, a lot of pressure put on by Rockford in the offensive zone. They had 3 forecheckers in briefly. Now they back off a bit, but Pastelli has it stolen by Grayson Leiter behind the net. Leiter trying to chip it in front of the goal to Schwant. Didn't work out. Pastelli recovered. Gage Potter flipping it a little bit behind. Cooper Moss, though, at center. Schwant back up ahead. Pastelli latches onto it. His backhand clear does get out over the blue line. Kapinga helps it further to the Rockford line. Twisting dump in by Schwant. 6:13 to go in the second. Pastelli, can he get it out far side? He cannot. Flaherty kicks it along, but right to Pastelli, who heads due north with it. Pass on right wing to Gage Potter. He's stripped by Schwant. And the attempted breakout feed deflected by Carlander into the netting on the near side. 5:56 to go in the second period, and still no goals on the board. Catholic Central came out hot, couldn't get one. Carlander hit the post, notably. Since then, Rockford has had 3 rush chances, odd man rushes, and all of them turned away by Jacob Barron, the Cougars goalie. Speaking of guys down to their final few high school games, Aaron's one of them. On Stott lobs the shot, and Williams saw it the whole way. The screen parted at the last second, and Carlander saying, good idea, I'll try to get in the way next time. At least I think that's what he's saying. He gave Onstott a little nod, verbal affirmation, it appeared. Drop of the puck, and the Rams win that one quite easily, but they give it away to Heminger behind the goal. Whacked out into the slot. Carlander back to the blue line for Ten Harmsel, and behind the net to Heminger. Dozema helps it to Onstott. He shoots again. This time it's deflected. Stays in play off the high glass in the corner with a clank. Behind the goal, Heminger trying to pull it back away from Flaherty as he had Dozema open in front. Now to the point. Wrister by Ten Harmsel, just offline. Flaherty couldn't get it by Dozema on the near wall. Wedged free, high in the zone. Lassoed by Carlander. Turning shot, redirected, just missed. I think Dozema got a piece of that in the slot. Dozema behind the net. Out in front, Carlander. Doesn't take the backhand. Gave it to Ten Harmsel, who pumped it over the net and off the glass. Vollmer around, but not out. Cohen Potter off the bench, but he couldn't make a play. And banged to center by Kortkowski. Bounced in on the Rockford net by Ten Harmsel from center, but that allows the Rams to regroup with under 5 to play in the second. Up the near wall, deflected by Onstott. Scooped by Raguckus. Flaherty across to Portco, right back to Flaherty. Nolan Portco, the only goal in the game so far. Flaherty threw that flying saucer way up in the air, but it stayed in play. Savaggio on the puck, and a wrister deflected by Ten Harmsel. Over the glass again. 4:26 remaining in the second. Looks like the Wi-Fi connection is strong like it was yesterday. Happy to hear it. Tuesday's game just might have been the worst Wi-Fi we've had all year. Rinks are getting better with this, but not all the way. And if we play on the West rink here at Griff's Georgetown, I can plug into the Ethernet, which is always the best option, gives you the best viewing experience, but otherwise we do what we can. Not a great place for cellular signal either, so the phone hotspot not better than the Wi-Fi. It happens, so we do what we can. Right toward the net by Packard, missed into the corner. The handoff out high. McCrell stepping in, he hit the post. Right behind Aaron's blocker. And the Cougars ice it. And slamming his stick in frustration, Hayden McCrell. Almost another defenseman goal for Rockford. Inches away, but it stays out. That's a post for either side in the second period. 3:41 remaining. It's a 1-0 game, but it doesn't really feel like it. It's been fairly wide open, especially in the second. but that's the way it goes. At least that's the way it's gone. That could always change in a hurry. Never want to speak too soon in this game. Matheson plays to the corner, turned in front of the net, Mead, but he was defended well by Kappinga, right there in front of the goal. Moss stretches out down the wing, looks back on the pull-up move, but that was blocked by Markin of Rockford. Deflects to Moore, thought about a step toward the net, keeps it to the perimeter, behind the goal. Moore to Gage Potter, pass to the far side, redirects off some skates. Kappinga right back on it. Top of the circle, but he's stripped by Portco. Up ahead it goes, Markin trying to blast his way by Moore. Moore tied him up just enough to avoid the penalty. Following on to the side of the net, Mead on the handoff from Shore. Mead right back toward the front, hit the outside of the goal. Back to Mead one more time, flipped the shot, and he flubbed it wide. Dropped off at the point to Matheson. He dubbed it by Potter. McLean with a huge hit on Mead, sending him caroming into the boards. And then McLean's clear, hit Mead, but hopped to center ice. The action's heating up. McLean back to it, icing against Rockford. And Matheson is saying, no, wait. Or he's just pointing to the scoreboard as Gage Potter is talking to him. I don't know what. I thought Matheson was protesting the icing call, but that might not be the case. Either way, hard to tell. Carlander versus Vollmer at the dot. And again, Vollmer wins it at that circle. He's had some success there in this period. Angled out and passed. Ten Harmsel. Aaron's got to play it. He lifts it right into the body of Pastelli, who handled that well. Now the life of a D-man. You go back, and your goalie is going to shoot it right at you. You got to find a way to not turn it over in that spot. And sometimes that's the only play available to the goalie, too. So it's not always perfect. In that case, the Cougars do flip it all the way down out of the scrum. Heminger took a swing at it. Side swiped Kortkowski, but the Rams go back the other way. Ragukis with some speed. Couldn't swing by Pastelli, though, who cleared it off the linesman at center red. So that saved an icing call against Catholic Central. That's a nice break. See if they can make something of it. Flaherty ducking back in his own zone in front of the Cougars bench. And he scoots it into the offensive zone, and that's called icing. And the linesman, not the most popular man in Rockford at the moment. 1:37 to go. So instead of an icing against the Cougars, it hits the linesman. Then that same linesman calls, I would call it a questionable icing against Rockford. So the little moments in a game, and now Catholic Central sets up shop in the offensive end. After all that, the little things that coaches remember too. Believe me, they remember those turning points. Potter's reaching in, picked by Kappinga in the middle, but the puck drifted away. Kappinga first on it, though, on the sidewall. Dished it behind, too far for Moss. Gage Potter got his skate in the way to keep that puck below the Rockford goal line. Lavarelle can't clear. Pastelli a shot off the glove of Nolan Williams. Loose puck out high, and Pastelli's got to simply touch it right back in as the Cougars tag up on the blue line. They're back on side. Trouble there for McCrell, but he left it back for his co-captain Packard, and Packard just calmly skates it all the way down the right wing. Took a hip check from Pastelli. Another thundering hit from number 10 in this tournament. He leveled Quinn Adicott of Mona Shores on Tuesday as well. This time, Catholic Central called for the ice with 45 seconds to go in the period. Yeah, hard to believe no goals in this period yet. It's not over, but almost to the end, and the score is the same as it was after one. We've had two shots off posts, one at either end in the period. The face-off to Jacob Aaron's right. Dozema getting an instruction from the linesman before the drop of the puck. It goes down. Vollmer pushes it forward. He catches up to it behind the net, emerging out the near side. Vollmer delaying, looking for somebody to get open. Hits a man cutting in for a shot. Kortkowski didn't get a lot on that. Too much traffic in front. Carlander couldn't get it out, though. McCrell held it in. Vollmer, slip pass, off a skate. right to Carlander at the face-off circle. And he turns it up the middle and off the skate of Heminger back out to the safety of center. 17 seconds to go in the second period. Onto it, Ragukis, left at far side. Kurakowski, backhand, easy save for Aaron with 10 seconds to go. And he hangs on. Regardless of what happens, even if we see a quick goal here before the end of the period, it's going to come down to the third. It's going to be about who executes better late. Moss versus Savaggio at the far circle. Moss chokes way down on the stick, but it ended up floating back to the point for a snapshot that's caught by Aaron off the blade of Nolan Portko. Portko again, he looked to the bench. They wanted him to pass that puck, I think, because he still had 6 seconds left. Could have gone D to D. Now it does come back again. Turning blast, blocked in front. Lavarelle got the shot away, and Catholic Central survives that situation. Dozema takes a check at the horn by McCrell, and that's that. Second period over. We'll get a fresh sheet of ice for the third. No goals in the second. Plenty of chances and a few very close calls, but nothing in the middle frame. 1-0 Rockford after 34 minutes of play. Back in 10 minutes for the conclusion of this one on Cougar Puck Radio. 5th place game of the OK Conference. Still very much undecided. Well, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Third period. Final game of the OK tournament for both teams. Catholic Central trails Rockford 1-0. I'm Matt Gajtka. This is Cougar Puck Radio. Rockford scored back in the first. Nothing since. Vollmer maneuvers over the blue line, but he's offside. And again, our gold sponsors for Catholic Central Hockey, Innovia Wealth, and ARC Insights. Thank you for your generous support. Royal Blue sponsors, 3-in-1 Solutions, Sharp Automotive, Crispback, and Fox Motors. And countless other sponsors listed in your program. You can still pick up a program, the second edition of the 2025-26 program at Southside this upcoming weekend, as a long shot deflects wide of Aaron. Aaron was outstanding in the second period, made 3 saves on odd man chances. Flaherty tried to move the puck down low, and it was redirected off the rink. 28 seconds into the third. Well, this has been the story of the season for the Cougars. So many games that are up for grabs going into the third. A lot of times they have come out on top in the third period. It's been impressive how they've finished games for long stretches this year. They've won 5 of their last 6 now. They had a 5-game winning streak earlier in the season, from late November to early December, excuse me. Little hiccup late in December. A couple of losses there, including one to Granville. If there's one thing to nitpick, it's just at times they can go a little dry on the offensive side. And this is one of those times right now. They've been shut out by Granville, shut out by Byron Center as well this year. Cleared beyond the reach of McLean. On down it goes. McLean playing defense again. Parker Moore's played, but maybe not as much as we're used to seeing him, as he returns from one game out due to an upper body injury. There is Moore on cue. Smokes it away from the front of the net, and he grabs the puck behind his goal. The soft toss off the boards. Back there to Dozema, reverses over to Moore, and Catholic Central just trying to keep that puck moving and eventually find an avenue. They do here. Ripped off the side of Carlander, though, at center by Heminger. Heminger, Jensen, and Carlander, the forward trio out for Catholic Central. Another mix and match type of day for the coaching staff. With Gavorkian out, McLean back on D. Just makes things different from usual. Coach Marchand said yesterday that was a win the Cougars needed, as they were not happy with their performance on Tuesday against Mona Shores. Called on with some space. Called on, great move. Oh, I don't know how that missed. He shot it back across the front of the netminder, and maybe Williams got a shoulder on that. It was blocker's side, that forehand shot. Great opportunity for Colin. It comes to him again. He shoots this time. It's blocked, though, and McCrell clears off the stick of Moore, and it jumps out of play over the Rockford bench. 14:34 to go in the third. Colin scored his first varsity goal a few games back at home. But that was all created by himself there. He made it happen and just could not polish it off in close. So Nolan Portco's goal for Rockford still standing up as the only one in this game. It was actually 3 weeks ago Colin scored against Saginaw Heritage. Couldn't place the team. I knew it was a team that wore green, but I was confused between Midland Dow and Saginaw Heritage. Moore and Shore, rhyme time, ended up spinning around looking for the loose puck on the near side. Now it's far wing in the Cougars' end, and another save by Aaron offshore. Shore has been good in this game for Rockford, but nothing tangible to show for it. Moss parades back. One of the Rams lost a stick. Moss shooting. It's off of Williams, up in the air and into the low slot, and then punched to the side wall. Kapinga stepping in. Reynolds lost it. He got checked. Mead hooked up a bit at center ice. Referee says play on. I think Kapinga got away with one, but that's all right. part of hockey is also finding that line and pushing up against said line. Ten Harmsel off his back foot, and he got too much loft on that shot, but Carlander retrieves, plays it back to McLean, flipped it far corner. Heminger reaches, pulls the puck loose, and around beyond Carlander. Dozema couldn't keep it in. Here's Ten Harmsel feeding Heminger. The Rockford fans didn't like a no call on the far wing. Didn't see who that was. It might have been Dozema running some interference. That's my best guess on that. With no replay available, I don't have a second camera. McLean skated right in front of his net. Still in some trouble, but the puck drifts to center. Carlander couldn't get on it. Heminger fires it across. Jensen lost command. McLean off the glass. Jensen reaching, stays in. Heminger with Jensen. It looked onside to my eye. Well, it's not going to matter as it's poke checked to center ice by Laverell. Long drive by Catholic Central's Heminger right in on Williams, and he covers it up. 12:23 to go in the third. Cohen Potter on second effort, works the puck back to the point. Pastelli left it behind, but on his knee, he still pushes it down the wall. And Pastelli checks one of the Rams, but Rockford escapes. 2-on-3. Vollmer, rising shot, easy blocker save for Aaron. Talking to Jacob's dad between periods. The life of a goalie parent. Tough times. Penalty coming against the Rams. And it's going to be the first power play of the game for Catholic Central. Aaron's off for an extra attacker. Doesn't matter, as it's touched almost immediately by Warner Korotkowski on the near wing. And Catholic Central gets the advantage with 11:48 to go in regulation time. And the Rams unhappy with the call. A lot of protests from the visitors' side of the bleachers, too. Trying to see who that is over there. It looks like Vollmer. But here's the power play chance for Catholic Central, right in front of the net, and gunned out of the zone by Portko, who rallied in front of his netminder. Tripping the call, and it is Jackson Vollmer. So here's that chance on a platter for the Cougars. Kicked ahead inadvertently by Carlander. He pursues against Matheson. Around the boards, held in by Ten Harmsel. Near wing Pastelli dusts off the puck. Not afraid to make a play, Morgan Pastelli. This time, though, his pass for Heminger out of his reach. Portko on it. A backhand right over the head of Carlander, who dejectedly looks back. He was hoping to be able to get in the way of that, but when they throw it 5 feet over your head, not much you can do in this sport. Because if you reach up with the stick, it'll just be a high stick on the puck if you happen to contact it. Pastelli down the boards, lost it though, and a long drive by Savaggio, stick save by Aaron. He put the paddle down. Pastelli though ran off the puck. Packard, first chance in a while. The cutback shorthanded. Aaron denies him at the top of the crease. Jacob remains airtight. Late into this game, 10:40 left. The Cougars having a hard time breaking that puck out on the power play. If you're interested in the broadcaster's jinx, I will say, yes, Catholic Central just has the 2 shutout losses this year. One to Byron Center, one to Granville. Shot score, shorthanded goal, Savaggio, 2-0. He caught up to that loose puck at the bottom of the circle, and I think he surprised Aaron with that rising shot from an incredible angle. And Vollmer went out of the penalty box to celebrate. That's not allowed. The referee's not going to call an extra penalty or anything there, I don't think, but Savaggio roofs it from almost no angle there. And Rockford has a pair of special teams goals. That was surprising. The goalie surprised me, honestly. I didn't think Savaggio would take that shot. A lot of times short-handed, you'll see players just hold on to pucks in deep because they don't want to start the breakout the other way if they happen to miss the net or the goalie makes a save. Jensen lays a hit at center. So again, the Cougars down by 2 for the second time in this tournament. Capping a strip of the puck over the blue line. Flaherty wrenched it loose, and the Rams on it again. Korakowski off the boards, kept in. Moss closes, fan on the shot. Came right back to him in the slot. One more try for Jensen. Couldn't get much on it. And banged off the boards and down. And that's probably going to wind down the power play. Only 6 seconds to go before Vollmer comes out of the box. Well, I was trying to reverse jinx the Cougars offense, get them going. Instead, the Rams score right away. Moore's drive to the net. And the puck deflected away from him, in on Williams. And Moore is talking some junk with Brayden Kuhn, who waves to Moore behind his head. Parker Moore. It's never boring when he's involved. He's still chatting it up. And Coach Mokosak for Rockford said they don't pay attention to him. He's talking to his players as Moore goes to his bench. The Cougars have some disturbers on their team. Put Moore in that category. So is the guy with the puck right now, Cohen Potter. Kicks it down the wing. Jackson Dozma as well. There's Pastelli hammering a ram at center ice. McCrell had to wait for his number to pop up. Shot, rebound. Aaron made a save. What a stop on Packard after Laverell's shot was denied. Laverell from the near boards whipped it right through the top of the crease. Cut in move by McCrell. Still free. Once and twice for Packard, hacking at it. Saved by Aaron, and then Packard got rammed by Conan, and Packard was ready for it. He ended up knocking Conan down, and the referee's going to take somebody to the box, it looks like. Packard saying, hey, it's my right to reach for that puck. It was still loose. And the referee is, I think, saying that Packard's got to go to the box along with Pastelli. Yeah, Packard will go. And again, the Rockford crowd doesn't like that either. 2-0 game, 8:56 left in the third. Good choice by the public address to play Hot-Blooded by Foreigner. There was an extra 2 on the board to Catholic Central. Now that's off the board. I think it's just going to be coincidental minors and 5-on-5 play from all that. Hey, still time to chip one in and get back into this. There's the drop of the puck just outside the Catholic Central blue line. Moore behind the goal. Left it there. Scooted out in front on a one-touch pass by Shore, but intercepted by Catholic Central's Carlander, I believe it was, and cleared off the line. Dozma down the boards. Carlander looks up. Scoots a nifty pass to Ten Harmsel, and we almost had a fight behind the play. Dozma is being restrained by the linesman. McCrell escorted away to the Rams bench. And I don't think Dozma is going to get away unscathed in terms of penalties here. Nope, Dozma's going to the box. 8:33 left. Nolan Williams clears the puck all the way down to Jacob Aaron. Two goalies occupying themselves while the skaters try to sort it out. 8:33 left, and I have to imagine the Cougars are going to go shorthanded again. In fact, Dozma's been kicked out of this game. His second penalty. So Dozma's gone, and I was watching the puck, so All I knew was that there was some sort of skirmish going on behind the play. Dozema and McCrell getting into it. And someone's going to have to serve something for Dozema. Long discussion among the officials. Rockford scored back in the first. Nolan Portco on the power play, and one more in the third. Savaggio, shorthanded. And there are currently 3 Cougars in the box. Colnon and Jensen are serving penalties. And all that information being relayed to the official scorekeeper. We're halfway through the third. The Rockford lead has grown to 2. The discussion continues. The referee making sure the proper amount of time goes on the board. 7 minutes put on the board. But I think they have it on the wrong side. They have it on the Rockford side. So we could be looking at a major plus a minor. Noah Onstad is behind the Cougars bench. I think talking with his parents about something. It's a long stoppage. Mid-afternoon tea time, I suppose. Now the 7 minutes has been placed on the proper side of the board. So we've got that figured out. Kyle Marchand, the Cougars head man, wants an explanation, and he's getting one from one of the referees. And Isaac Kappinga being talked to by the Lions person who had to break up that near fight. Catholic Central having an impromptu team meeting at the side of the net. Jacob Aaron lifts his mask up to talk to his penalty killers. We've got 7 and 2 on the board. First of all, there shouldn't be just a 7 up there. It should either be a 5 and a 2, but not 7. There is no such thing as a 7-minute penalty. Still the conversation continues. Noah Onstad is back behind the bench, still flexing a little bit. I don't know if he's possibly hurt here. We're going to drop the puck finally. I'm at the right dot. Back to Portco. The Rams control. Market to Portco. Closing from the blue line. Head up. Shot. Save Aaron with the glove, and he keeps it for the stoppage in play. All right, we've got, it's a 2-man advantage for Rockford. 2 separate penalties apparently issued there, in addition to whatever the 5-minute situation is for Moore. So Moore got 2 and 5, and then someone else got 2. I don't know who it was. So it's a 2-man Rockford advantage. Low shot by Markin, blocked by Moore. Markin works it behind the goal. Ten Harmsville reaching for it. So Pastelli got 2 for roughing. Across, over to Portco. And right back to Portco. On the exchange with Markin, near circle, Vollmer down low. Mead to Portco. Far wing, snap shot by Markin off the blocker of Aaron. Scooped up by Porco, down low, Markin shooting, blocked by Parker Moore. 1 minute to go on the 5-on-3. Vollmer loaded up, now he passes, intercepted by Ten Harmsel. This game's not over yet, although it might feel like it with all the penalties stacking up against Catholic Central. It sounded like Dozema got 5 minutes for kicking. That's what I thought I heard over the PA, but the play continues. Down low pass, Aaron a fantastic sprawling save on Markin to keep it 2-0 and cleared by Moore. So still within reach for Catholic Central. They got to get through the next 30 seconds, and then it'll just be a 5-on-4 for Rockford, but that'll last 5 more minutes because Dozema got 2 in addition to the 5. All those penalties with 8:33 remaining in the third period. Top of the zone, Lavarelle. Ragukis, a shot, and a blocker save by Aaron. He reached down low to parry it away. Ragukis, half wing, or half wall, excuse me, to the top end. McCrell, far wing, and a wrist shot by Lavarelle off the blocker of Aaron, but scooped up by McCrell again. Looks across, his pass deflected. Lavarelle retrieves. First penalty is over. McLean out there to help kill it off. It's Moss, Reynolds, McLean, and Moore, the penalty killers for Catholic Central. Top of the zone, Korikowski. Left it back there, McCrell. Takes a look, guns the puck, and a great stop by Aaron again. He saw it through the screen, and he keeps it in his glove as Parker Moore and Brody Ragukis go toe-to-toe for a bit. And this game continues to threaten to boil over. 6:08 left in the third. I've been waiting for the Rams to put their 36-goal scorer, their co-captain, Jonah Packard, over the boards. They finally do. They didn't have him out there for the 5-on-3. Oh, I know why. Packard was in the box for that situation behind the Cougars' net in which he got penalized, and he didn't think he should have, but he did. That was coincidental. Packard taking the shot from the circle, and he wastes no time to put some rubber on net. But again, Aaron, the save. And he stops the music. 6:01 left in the game, potentially. Still say regulation. 4:28 left on the major penalty to Jackson Dozema. So one of those power plays is over. I've never heard of a penalty for kicking, but it's got to be in the rule book. That's not a good penalty to take. But we continue on. Meade at the bottom of the circle, looking in front of the net. Meade out top. Flaherty's trying to screen the goalie. A snapper missed the net. Around and out it goes. Porco couldn't hold it in. Reynolds pressuring. Puck still in the Rockford zone, but the Cougars backpedal. Still trying to kill this penalty, just survive this situation and maybe strike opportunistically if they can. Flaherty, he's a big kid, goes to behind the net. Gains possession, speeds it out top. Vollmer, far side Portco. Packard from the goal line, a cross score. Michael Meade puts it inside of the net. Just too much power play time for Rockford. Meade polishes it off, and it's 3-0 with 5:14 to go. Not much Jacob Aaron could do on that. He stretched out, just hoped that Meade would hit him in the pad with the shot. Didn't work. And Rockford has increased its lead to 3-0 with another PPG. And the power play does continue. Rockford officially 2 for 4, and this will be the 5th opportunity on the box score. Major penalties do not dissolve, even if the team on the power play does score. They can score unlimited times, and the power play time would still continue on. Capping in the corner, the Cougars have to take some chances. I realize the horse might be out of the barn at this point, but hey, why not push? Capping is trying. Stripped from behind, though, by Korikowski. Capping ran into Heminger in the high slot. Pastelli in deep, out to Heminger. Has a look, shooting toward the front. Nolan Williams kicked it away. Kappinga nearly got a stick on that. On the far boards, the Ten Harmsel losing control of the puck. The Rams coming on back. Ragukis a shot, blocked, hit his own man, Markin. Ragukis right back to it. Laverell trying to snipe one. We missed it about a foot over the crossbar. Into the corner, and Vollmer again. Vollmer looking to exchange, faked the exchange, kept it, lost it. Ragukis, 2:40 left on the major power play. Vollmer in deep, Markin in front. Pastelli got there just in time to tie up the stick of Vollmer. He was right at the far side post. Can the Cougars clear? It's a bouncing puck. Nolan Portko held it in momentarily, but taken back by Ten Harmsel. Tried to slip it up the wall to Cooper Moss. No sail. Vollmer right back in on a 2-on-1. Floated a shot that Aaron easily cut off. 3:47 to go in the third. 2 more goals for Rockford here in this period. And it appears the Rams are going to prevail and add another win to their impressive bounce-back season. The Rams are 15-8 coming into today, and keep in mind, 2 of those 8 losses were forfeits because of some scheduling snafus near the start of the new year. One of those that they had to forfeit was a game they played already. It was against Catholic Central. That was a 3-3 tie at Griff's Ice House. So the Rams could actually be 15-7-1. Whip shot by Packard, fought off by Aaron on the deflection. Watch out, ripped right into the Cougar bench by Gage Potter, and he taps his chest. It says, my bad. Everyone had to duck. The coaches, the players, the camera woman in there in the bench as well. Coaches in the photog, they don't have helmets. That'll put the fear of God into you. The Rams again win the face-off. Packard drifts it wide to the top left corner by a few inches. 3:35 to go in regulation time. 2 minutes left on this power play. Just an exhausting sequence for Catholic Central. They've been short for over 5 minutes. 2 of those minutes they were short by 2 men. Michael Mead has scored the only Rockford goal of the sequence. Packard, a long drive off the glove of Aaron. Loose behind the net. Vollmer tried to stash it in front. Not able to do so. Moore, a bouncer out to the blue line. Portko kept it alive. Whacked it down the wood. Flaherty, though, overskated. Cougars clear to center, courtesy of Parker Moore. 3 to go in the third. Portko all the way across, deflected onto the blade of Packard, but he overskated that and pumped out of the zone by Reynolds. Reynolds and Cohen Potter, the penalty killing forwards for Catholic Central. Down to the final minute of the major penalty. So Dozma, see if I can get the penalties sorted for you on the live box, if it's being updated. Looks like it stopped being updated in the second period, so I don't know exactly what all the penalties were from that situation. And for some reason in hockey, they don't announce penalties until the play restarts. I never understood that. Why do we do that? It's the same at every level, too. Just announce it when we're all sitting around. Or, in my case, just waiting. Not when I'm calling the play. Just trying to relay the information onto the fans back at home, and I really can't do it as well as I would like to. 20 seconds left on the power play. Packard all the way across and missing on the one-timer. Vollmer flushed out of the zone. The Cougars' Heminger on the chase. Down the wing against Flaherty. Flaherty controls. Nearly back to 5-on-5 at long last. 1:38 remaining in the third. Collinon blocks the rink-wide pass. Pastelli. Trying to maneuver out of some difficult positions on the ice in his own end. Mead nearly ripped it away, but it's back to the Rockford blue line. Down it goes, too far for Ten Harmsel. No icing, the Rams changing, so plenty of time and space for Casey to wind it up. A little shimmy and a shake, and he gets right by and takes the shot from the left wing circle that missed into the corner. Pastelli couldn't keep it in the zone. Catholic Central's got to tag up. And the Rams scale it up and out. Jensen threw a hit. Levi Jensen still playing hard. Pastelli twisted down into the ice on the check from Koretkowski. 43 seconds left. And the Cougars just trying to break that shutout. And Ten Harmsel putting it all on his shoulders. His backhand chip, though, that missed. Kappinga forced it toward the front, but it was blocked by Ben Tracy. Tracy takes a hard hit right in the back from Pastelli. That looked like that stung as he was being engaged with Kappinga as well. And here's Kappinga and Ragukis both dumping each other down to the ice. Out in the neutral area, the play continues. The Cougars got a shot. That was, I think, Gage Potter, as time is down to 6 seconds to go. And Ragukis is still jawing at Kappinga. Boy, just a really contentious ending to this game as time runs out. That one got ugly as Rockford wins it 3-0 in the 5th place game of the OK Conference Tournament. Just a lot happening there, and the referees and the linesmen are going to be watching this center ice handshake closely, I would wager. 3 separate times Isaac Kappinga almost got sent to the box for some extracurricular activities with one of the Rams. I think it was Ragukis at least twice. And so Nolan Williams and Jacob Aaron lead the handshakes at center. And Aaron with an embrace to Noah Matheson. You'll see a little extra love for some guys in the line if you played with them in previous stops in West Michigan. Youth hockey and all that on your way up. All right, so it looks like we're going to be all right in terms of the temperature of this game emotionally. It's calmed down in the end. That's it for this one. So Catholic Central ends up going 1-2 in the tournament. They dropped to 16-7-2. Rockford now 16-8 with no ties. And the Rams salute their fans. Same deal for Catholic Central to the folks who showed up here at Griff's Georgetown. So that's your final. Catholic Central shut out for the 3rd time this year. We'll talk to you on Friday night from Southside Ice Arena as the Northville Mustangs gallop into town to play the Cougars. We've got Hockey Fights Cancer Night coming up, so make sure to stay plugged into the social media channels for more details on all of that. The Cougars will be wearing special jerseys that night, and then we've got Senior Day on Saturday next week too. So 2 more home games coming up on Cougar Puck Radio. Until next time, this is Matt Gajtka saying good night, God bless, have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll be with you again for one last weekend